welcome to Guides to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
I'm William.
And we are here to tell you interesting tales from the world of the weird.
The world of the weird is wonderful.
I know.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's a good sort of
That flowed better than it usually does.
like weekly world news, some sort of a publication that rounds up outlandish stories from around the world.
The world of the weird.
The world of the weird. I feel like that's
Probably
untapped.
out there.
I wonder if anybody's used that.
I wonder too. I haven't heard of it off the top of my head, but I could see going to that website and it being taken.
Yeah, somebody
Let's
put
find out.
together a newsletter, tether it to us. It's our entity, but you run it. I don't want to do
Correct.
anything.
Hang on. The world of the weird.com. No, there's no theworldoftheweird.com. So
Okay. All right. I'm going to buy it before the night is
up for grabs for us. Yeah, I'm sure you will.
I've invested a lot in domains recently.
Yeah.
This is not the place for that.
All right. So I'm going to go first. And I have kind of a weird presentation for you guys tonight. I have a mini monster that's not a monster. So it's just a mini segment. And it's not even that mini. And then I have kind of a short main segment. So really, I just have kind of like two stories tonight to take up the length that I might usually take. Maybe, if that.
Well, you have the floor.
Thank God. I'm happy to take it. My mini monster is based on something that I was totally wrong about. And I felt like a dumbass the second I realized, but I didn't feel like changing it. So I was looking in my notes to start taking, my notes for this week's episode. And I have them numbered, like as we go, episode 76, 77, whatever. Our last episode was 77, and I got 77 stuck in my mind as this week's episode.
Oh.
And I thought to myself, hey, repeating numbers. Why don't I look up angel numbers and the meanings of different repeating numbers?
Angel numbers?
Yes. And then I realized this is episode 78, you dummy.
Yeah.
So, a little late, but I was trying to be on theme and I missed.
Okay, fair enough.
But anyway, we're still going to talk about it. So, angel numbers are, it's like the concept of when you see repeating numbers, and that's supposed to mean that angels are trying to communicate with you in some way. So it's either them kind of giving you just like a, hey, heads up, I'm with you, I see you, or there are different, meanings ascribed to different specific numbers.
Oh, that's
that
interesting.
you could look up and be like, oh my God, I keep seeing like 444 all over the place today. And you looked up and you're like, oh, 444 means blah, blah, blah.
I didn't know that. I know of people like seeing signs and synchronicities that happen around them. I don't think I've heard of angel numbers.
Oh,
Maybe
really?
I've heard that phrase before.
Yeah.
But didn't really attach any meaning to it. That's weird.
Yeah, it's like a very specific kind of synchronicity.
Okay.
And so the numbers can appear anywhere. It doesn't have to be that specific. So it could be on clocks like the time. It could be on billboards, phone numbers, license plates. Those are all common things where people tend to notice them and kind of get some meaning from them. So basically the thought is that your angels, either your specific guardian angels or just kind of like angels around in the universe, whatever, are somehow guiding you to see that number at that time. So it might be that, angels have kind of like tapped you on the shoulder at 444 again, so that you turn and look at the clock and see 444. They're not just like placing numbers like random places and it's all happenstance. It's all kind of in the idea that they are guiding you to see these things when they want you to for this reason. Whether it's like having you move or somehow physically moving objects, like somehow an angel guides a guy who's in the car lane to the left of you to go into your lane in front of you so that you can see that his license plate is 444.
Right.
Or whatever it is. So I've heard this before and I wasn't sure what the origin of them is, like where that idea first came into play. And it seems like this woman named Doreen Virtue was the person who either came up with the idea of angel numbers or started interpreting numbers in this way, or maybe she's just the one who popularized it in the biggest way. But definitely Doreen Virtue is attached to angel numbers. And as I'm saying her name out loud, I wonder if her name is really Doreen Virtue.
I know.
Or if that is, a stage name of sorts. Yeah. So she wrote a book in the 80s called Angel Numbers and Their Meanings. And she's basically big in the world of angels and divination stuff in general because she wrote that book. And then she has a number of, not just, when I say a number, it makes it sound like a couple. She has a whole bunch of oracle decks, which are kind of like tarot cards, except that where tarot cards has a specific system where there's the major arcana and minor arcana and all that kind of stuff that we talked about in a previous episode. If you look up divination, it's in that episode. But oracle cards are way more freeform, where it's just kind of the designer of them has made a design and then put a meaning to that design, and you shuffling them and you doing it and you having your energy that you want to check out what's in this oracle deck is kind of affecting what you pick up. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm reading this right now, and this applies to me in this way. Huh. So similar to tarot, you can do spreads with them and things like that, but I think they're more commonly just taken one at a time to get like a quick little message, and much more fluid in the way that they're formed. So she has written a ton of, and designed a ton of oracle decks and a little guidebooks that go with them for like all kinds of creatures. There are like angel oracle decks, there are mermaid oracle decks, there are all kinds of things. And so like I said, they're more freeform than tarot, and I was thinking that from the outset being like, oh, okay, like a mermaid oracle deck, it's like, oh, it makes, you might think off the bat like, oh, this certain mermaid has a certain message for a person. Like, what the hell does that all mean? But I think that in the same way that you bring your own perspective and your own energy of that day, your own vibe to tarot cards, you're bringing your own vibe to the oracle cards. So you're going to take in more from something that appeals to you than you are from something random. Okay. So if you're somebody who's super duper into mermaids and you'd like to see the messages that, you know, are kind of written in the character of a mermaid or something, that's going to be more useful to you maybe than a tarot deck, which is kind of just more general and less prescribed. With oracle decks, you can pick the one that appeals to you the most, and you might have a little bit more of a personal relationship with it because of that.
So you might have a tarot deck and have a
oracle deck.
Oracle deck.
Yeah. And you can like use them in tandem. Like you could do like a tarot spread and then do an oracle card on top of that one that you are using to kind of inform the message from that tarot card and like build out from there.
Gotcha.
So Doreen Virtue is somebody who is prolific in the world of oracle decks and divination in that way. But something that's very interesting is that semi-recently, so only in 2017, she renounced all of these old things that she used to do because she says that she saw a vision of Jesus that led her to understand that everything that we need spiritually comes from following him and the scripture. And he doesn't want anybody doing any sort of divination work or any kind of like psychic like nudging into that world. So I was reading on her website, she discontinued the printing of most of her products and had her name removed from some of the ones that are still being printed. And it had just kind of a throwaway line about something about partnerships. So I would imagine that means that she couldn't just cancel everything full stop because maybe they're like collaborations. In place. Yeah, maybe she like collaborated with an artist on an oracle deck, and so they have partial ownership of it, so she can't just cut off production or something. But she's removed her name from everything that she could. And she says that she still believes in angels, but she says that we're not supposed to call on them ourselves and try to like interact with them directly, that we should pray to God and he will send them to us.
Okay, so it's just at which level in the hierarchy are like, you interacting? Kind
of like obviously in, you know, Christianity and other beliefs, like God would be above angels, but I guess it's almost like going over God's head to try to talk to an angel directly. Right. Because there are also angels who are like archangels who are in charge of certain things. And so I guess it's like, it's not for you to decide which angel you need. You should pray to God and he's going to send you whatever you need in the form of whatever angel is best served for that.
It's like you go to Best Buy and you want to know if they have the new Nintendo Labo VR headset in stock.
Right.
But instead of going into the back room and talking to the people that work in the warehouse, you're supposed to talk to the people that run the floor.
William, exactly. So you see where Doreen Virtue is coming from with this.
Yeah, it's just inappropriate to go directly to the angels, go to God. He can deliver the message to the angels.
It's just inappropriate.
It's just inappropriate. It's so funny that she wanted, like, that was such a big deal that she had to get her name scrubbed from every single one of those products.
Well, it sounds like it was a real world rocker. Like, I didn't go super, super far into her website, but she basically, it looks like she has blog posts that are like why you should reject the new age movement. Like she was one of the like spearheads of the new age movement. She was like a really big deal. And a lot of her work, if not all of it, was about divination and kind of psychic work and contacting spirits and getting messages from them. So she one day woke up and was like, oh my God, everything that I've been doing is wrong. It's exactly the opposite of what I should do. Then I could see why she would just want to do a rejection of it and be like, I don't want to be involved in any of this, and encouraging other people to do it because now I think I've found what is like the way.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting now to think about it that she had so many different kinds of oracle decks, like the angel deck, the mermaid deck, the whatever deck, because that's kind of suggesting that there are a bunch of different ways for you to communicate with your own spirituality. You might, really resonate with mermaids, you like that deck, or maybe you resonate with mermaids on one day and angels on a different day. And it's kind of this very customizable mix and match way to engage with divination spirituality.
Right.
And now she seems to just be saying, nope, there's just one way. Like, not only should we reject all these decks, like I shouldn't even had all this variety of decks. There is specifically one way to do this, and it is Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's funny too that, not to cast a judgment on anyone for what they believe in, it's funny to be like, yeah, I've been creating all these oracle decks and telling you how to contact angels for decades in a variety of ways. Listen, all right, I gotta come clean. You shouldn't believe in any of that stuff. What you should believe is this. Rather than being like, it was all a hoax.
And she has products now like that kind of like go with scripture and Jesus, things like that. So I don't know if I don't think from what I read on her website that she's like, it was a hoax or like I was wrong. I think she just kind of thinks I actually think she was wrong, but she just kind of misguided and now she understands.
Okay.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like she was like, nope, wrong, stupid, whatever. But I think she's like disappointed that she was that way.
Okay.
It kind of reminds me of Anne Rice a little bit. Like Anne Rice is a born again Christian, maybe around the same time this happened. And now she's not hot on her vampire books that she wrote.
Yeah, she wrote Interview with the Vampire and
Sexy Lestat or whatever.
Gideon's Rock Core.
Yeah.
What was it? Queen of the Damned.
Oh, Queen of the Damned.
I was talking about this the other day with Bobby because Jonathan Davis produced the soundtrack.
Yep.
And so he wrote songs with people like the guy from Disturbed and Aaron Lewis.
Yeah.
And I used to listen to that album constantly.
I remember you really being a fan of that album.
Oh, sure I was. And there's a song that, the only thing I remember from it was a song that goes, "You see, I cannot be forsaken."
That sounds right.
"Because I'm not the only one."
Oh my God, who did that?
And then I think it goes, I think it's the guy from Disturbed. And then it goes, "We walk among you, feeding, killing." Then the next line is, "Plus we hide from everyone."
That's such a weak
which might be
to that.
The weakest way.
That's really
to
funny.
Finish your chorus.
We kill people, we do all this stuff. Plus, we hide from everyone.
Plus, we hide from everyone. Plus.
Yeah. P.S.
But wait, there's more.
We're gonna hide.
Plus, we hide.
Just the word plus in that is funny.
Plus is
like
very
not even
weak.
Like in addition, we hide in the shadows.
Yeah. You've just talked about how you cannot
plus
be
we hide
forsaken.
from everyone. Yeah.
Plus. It's like bordering on colloquial. Yeah, exactly. It's insane.
That's
anyway,
amazing.
I can't believe she renounced those works.
It was a shock to all of us all of us Lestatians. In the community.
I was wearing my Lestockings watching the movie.
Oh, what a coincidence.
You know what? I renounced that joke. That's stupid.
It's okay.
Thank you.
It does what it needs to do.
Do you know what angel numbers mean? Do you have any? Okay.
So that's the next thing. So I got the meaning of angel numbers from thesecretoftarot.com or thesecretofthetarot.com because I thought a lot of sites cite Doreen Virtue's explanation of the angel numbers. I can only assume that this is just paraphrasing them, but I was like, well, this lady wants it scrubbed so bad, I'll find somebody else's source for the angel numbers.
Okay.
If it means so much to her,
That's very kind of you.
Thank you.
There's no way she'd ever know. I won't use your knowledge. Don't worry. Yeah.
Okay. So, and these, I'm going to say all the individual number, but imagine these in sequences. So when I say 1, think of 1111 or 3 ones or even more.
Okay. A gaggle of ones.
Right. So 1, this is the number of originality, leadership, and independence. When this number appears, it could signal the beginning of something new and original in your life. 2, this is the number of cooperation, association, and sensitivity to others and could be a sign that you need to cooperate more or be more sensitive to others. 3, the number of spirituality, creativity, and self-expression. The angels may use this number to show you new avenues of conviviality and creativity. 4, this is the number associated with stability, work, and career. When you see this number, it is often a warning about your career situation. 5, associated with adventure, excitement, and higher consciousness, it is a sign that good times are on their way. 6. This number represents everything connected with home, including family ties and responsibilities. 7. This is a sign that you are in alignment with your spiritual purpose, for 7 is the number of spirit. Opportunities to align with divine purpose will open up to you. 8. The number of abundance and material prosperity, the angels are sending you guidance on how you can attract that abundance while achieving your deeper spiritual purpose. 9. This is the number of the accomplishment of your soul's deeper purpose. It is a sign from your source that it is time to start your real work.
Whoa, what is your real work?
I don't know.
0's not on there?
No.
It's funny that 6 didn't mention the beast.
Yeah, it is funny that 6 didn't mention the beast.
The only time that numbers, repeated numbers mean anything to anyone else on the planet.
That's a very famous repeated number.
Are 666.
Maybe they were just like, best not to even mention it.
Yeah.
Because when I just looked back at it when you said that, I was like, maybe it's like the opposite of the beast is 6. But no, it's about
like family, right?
Family.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, the dark trinity of beasts.
That's true. And again, Trinity.
Yeah.
Numbers.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Numbers are very important.
You're right.
Mm-hmm. So obviously seeing these all the time could be confirmation bias. Maybe if you're somebody who's really into angel numbers, you're kind of looking out for them. But you know what? If you're really into them and looking out for them gives you some sort of comfort and some sort of like tap on the shoulder you feel that's like everything's okay, then as long as you're not making like life-altering decisions based on the angel numbers and stuff, I say go for it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, theory.
Yeah.
Number stations are used to spread the angels' messages out to people.
Ooh. Yeah, I guess it depends on how often repeating numbers happen on number stations. Is that a lot?
Does it have to be repeating numbers?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think a lot of them do go like 3, 7, 7, 7, 8, 9.
Then yes, I wonder if there are number stations that are all repeating numbers.
That'd be interesting.
And there were websites, I will say, that I guess it doesn't, I think for angel numbers it has to be repeating numbers. There were websites that I found that had meanings for like a million bajillion numbers, like single digit and like multiple digits. But I think that kind of applies a little bit more to just numerology straight up. I think as far as the single digits, I think as long as it's a repeating number, it falls into the realm of angel numbers. But I think people kind of just took it and ran with it.
Oh, okay.
So I think these are the only real like prescribed ones.
Gotcha. Because I was going to say another further connection would be that the show Lost was all about 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42.
Yeah.
Which were broadcast from a number station, but also would pop up in people's lives in unexpected ways.
Right. So good.
And so in that sense, they function kind of like angel numbers, aside from not being, repeated single digits.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah, I guess it was kind of a sign that the island was calling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the angels calling.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so strange.
I know. So I think as long as it's not a disempowering thing in your life, as long as you're not being like led around by it, then, sweet.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Is there any like combo work here? Can you get like 3 number 7s and a couple 2s?
I guess it all depends on your perspective.
Yeah.
If you feel like that's an angel number to you or that's some sort of sign to you, then yeah, it is. All of this stuff is a matter of the way that you take it in.
Well, then you know what? I do think that could happen.
What could happen? Oh, the 7s and 2s?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, maybe it's supercharged then.
Everything's gone all 6s and 7s. Isn't that like a British slang?
Yes.
Someone out there knows what I said, but not what I meant, because I didn't know what it meant when I said it.
I think it means you're feeling all crazy. I was at 6s and 7s.
Really?
I think so.
Huh.
I know Austin Powers says
7,
it.
Right?
Hell yeah, I do.
Yeah, you know what
7...
I
don't know if we should talk about it.
You know what 7 did, right?
Yeah, but I'm afraid 7's going to hear us, and then he's going to go ham.
7 did something. 7 doesn't need ham anymore because of what he did.
That's right, because he ate 9.
He ate 9. Anyway, what was 9? What's 9?
9 is the number of the soul, the number of the accomplishment of your soul's deeper purpose. It's a sign from source that it is time to start your real work.
Oh, because of 7, you're not ever going to start your real work. Thanks a lot.
You can kiss that goodbye. So what are we stuck with 7? It's that you're in alignment with your spiritual purpose. So that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
It seems like it's kind of similar to 9, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, you're right.
So
maybe that's why 7 had a grudge.
That's why 7, 8, 9. It was just like, this is obsolete.
You're redundant.
You came after me and you're saying the same things as me. You're just a copycat. I want you out of here.
Pack your bags.
I eat you.
It's time to go.
Into my tummy.
Yeah.
So, on to topic number 2.
Yes.
Total, not connected.
Disconnected.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the story of the man from Torrid? And that's how I'm going to pronounce it. I don't know if it's Torrid. It's Taured.
Yes, I think I have.
Okay.
Hold on. Hold the phone. Does this have something to do with time travel?
Yes, it could.
Didn't we talk about this man?
Did we? Oh, God.
We might have. Did he appear on message boards?
No.
Oh, okay. Then I'm thinking of the time traveler that was like posting online. Yeah, there was a man.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think I know why I have my wires crossed, because this was somebody else that was like sort of from like another dimension or place that doesn't exist on the map.
Yes.
Something like that. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Wait, did we talk about it?
I don't think so. I know.
Okay.
I know of it at least in concept because of the podcast Tell 'em Steve Dave. I think they covered it at some point, but I don't remember anything other than like a man turned up and he was like, "I'm from Torrid."
Yeah.
But I got my wires crossed with the guy that was like, "I'm from another time."
Yeah.
It's just time or place.
Yes.
It's the same thing, but I'm very excited.
I'm waiting for that day to come where I forget that one of us covered something and I go to do it again.
I know. Or
can only hope that I put a fresh spin on it.
Or waiting for that day where you're sent out on like a business trip, and when you land, they're like, "Cool, so like, where are you from?" You're like, "New Jersey," and they're like, "I'm sorry." You're from where?
Yeah, this is probably a nightmare for this guy.
I've never heard of it.
Sounds terrible.
I'm very excited for this, Kristen.
Okay, this is an interesting story overall. Like, the story itself is interesting, and then the way this story even came to be is very interesting. So, the deal with the man from Torrid is that in 1954, a guy flew into an airport in Tokyo, coming from Europe, with a passport that said he was from a country called Torrid. So he like appeared to be European. He was like a white guy who had a beard, and he had several kinds of European currency on him. Like, he was a frequent traveler. He's going all over the place. But there was one problem. None of the officials there had ever heard of a country called Torrid.
What year is this again?
1954.
Okay.
So, but his passport looked legit, and he seemed like kind of just like a legit businessman. So they're very confused by this whole thing. So they're at the gate or whatever, trying to figure this out, and nobody's able to come to a conclusion. So like, all right, we're going to put this guy in a room to figure this out. And they were worried that he was maybe some sort of like criminal, like a trafficker or a smuggler or something like that.
Who did a really bad job with their fake passport.
Bad, but also kind of good, because the passport looked so real that they were thrown. If they were bad, it'd be so obviously fake that you're just like, what are you trying, sir?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? But yeah, you could have chosen a real country.
Rate, yeah, why would you pick a fake country? If you were trying to get away with something, why would you? It's like McLovin.
Yeah.
From Superbad. Why would you put that down?
Nobody's going to believe that. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So, they put him in this room, and the guy was pissed about the holdup. He said that he has traveled to Japan tons of times over the past 5 years for business, 3 times in that year alone. But they could, there are 2 versions of the story. They could either find no evidence of the company that he said he worked for, or they called the company he worked for and they had no idea who he was.
Okay.
Either way, things are still not really adding up. And also, I was thinking kind of in either version of this story, well, I guess only in the version of you're looking for the company maybe. We have the internet now, so you could look up whatever company, and if it doesn't come up, it doesn't come up. Were they just in the yellow pages in 1954? Like, where is this thing?
Yeah, I guess so.
Where is Torrid Enterprises? Like, there's R and there's S, and then there's nothing in the T's.
Right.
So it had to be very tedious. Or were they like calling the phone line with all the ladies and being like, you please connect me to Torrid Enterprises? And they're like, I don't know. So I don't know how they figured this stuff out. Also, the bank that his checkbook was from didn't exist.
Oh my God.
So just like going through all his effects and like nothing is adding up. Like they haven't heard of any of this stuff, basically.
If this guy is from Torrid, if he's not from, our universe.
Yeah.
This poor dude.
I know, just held up and either confused because maybe he's not realizing what's happening, or super nervous and like sweating bullets. Like, oh my God, I thought I was going to get away with this. They told me that this would work.
Oh, like, that's interesting. Yeah.
Why isn't this working? They gave me all of this stuff. I assumed that Torrid was a real place.
I thought Torrid was real when they gave me this passport.
Yeah, if I knew that this was a fake thing we're trying to pull over on somebody, I would have made them give me a real country.
Yeah.
So, he said he could, he could speak Japanese, he could speak a couple of other languages, and just add to this idea that he has been to Japan back and forth. So this should just be like another day at the office. What is the big deal? And he spoke French natively. So they brought him a world map finally. And they're like, show us where Torrid is. Like, none of us know where this is. Show it. And he's looking at the map, and he was very confused and irritated that he couldn't find Torrid on the map. He's like, it's supposed to be here. He said that it was where the Principality of Andorra was, along with parts of France and Spain. And he said it had been a country for like 1,000 years. So like, what the hell? Why isn't it on this map? This all isn't making any sense.
Yeah, this is a fake map.
Yeah, and he's starting to get pissed. And he's like, well, you need to figure it out. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm from Torrid. This is my fake bank. This is my fake work, my fake country. Like, I don't know. You figure it out because this is really annoying. And they couldn't come to an agreement because everything looked so legit. They couldn't disprove it exactly. Like, they didn't know what to do, basically. So they're like, we have to figure this out. We can't just let this guy go because what if he's a bad guy? And this is all still very suspect. So they put him up in a hotel room for the night. And they're like, well, we'll touch base again. I don't know what the hell we're going to do with this here. So the room, his hotel room, had 2 guards standing outside that he couldn't leave. And he didn't leave the room. Like, they had dinner delivered to him, and he went to bed pretty early. Well, room service.
That's great.
Hell yeah. I'll tell people that I'm from Torrid if I get sick room service.
Yeah, exactly.
French toast sticks.
Oh.
For dinner?
This grilled cheese is for the man from Torrid. Yeah. Thank you.
That is me. I am the man from Torrid.
Man from Torrid.
So he was in his room the whole night, as far as these guards knew, and then went to bed early because it had been a long day of aggravation and shakeup. You're tired when you travel anyway. He's going from Europe to Japan.
He opened the refrigerator and stood in it because in his dimension, the refrigerator is that flat thing in the bedroom, and you sleep in the fridge.
That's right. He didn't understand any of this stuff.
He's like
They told him all this was going to be different. He thought he would know the lay of the land. I don't know where anything is.
This guy's a real mork.
Yeah. He's a real mork. There's no actual evidence of morkish behavior, I will say. He seemed totally normal.
Okay.
No evidence of him trying to sleep in the fridge or anything. Normal dude, getting room service, going to bed early, because this has been one hell of a day.
Yeah.
So then in the morning, when they go to get him to do more questioning, they open the door to the room and it's empty. He is gone. There's no one in there. The guards say that nobody left all night. They're both, awake and alert. And the only other exit besides the front door is a window, and they're on a very high floor, and it doesn't have a ledge or anything. There's just, this guy disappeared. There's no evidence of what happened to him, and we never know.
Quite frankly, what a relief.
I know. Yeah, you're right. It's like, well, I guess we don't have to worry about that.
That's a lot of paperwork I won't have to do.
That's like the universe's problem.
I guess he's back in Torrid.
I know he landed with us, but we really don't have anything to do with this. This guy landed in our laps and he left. So
what am I supposed to do? He's from another universe. What do you want me to do with this guy?
Just go back to working at the airport.
All his knowledge is useless.
Yeah.
If you get zapped to another dimension and you don't even know how the hell you got there to begin with.
Yeah.
There was just some sort of a flood. The membrane between dimensions was wafer thin.
Yes.
Somehow you slopped through. You end up in another world.
Membrane and slopped through. That was disgusting.
Well, I'm not wrong. And, New Jersey doesn't exist anymore. And you're telling people, but I'm from New Jersey. What do you mean that's southern New York?
Yeah.
No, New Jersey used to be there.
New Jersey.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, if you never get zapped back to this dimension, you're just in this world.
Yeah. Untethered.
First of all, talk about a new start. You can be whoever you want.
That's true.
But you can't prove it's like okay, well, was there a divergence in the timeline and now we're in 2 different versions of today and there's a cultural history that we do share, or is it totally distinct?
A complete different
even
thing.
If you try to get a job, I know that there are people that have a college degree in a foreign country and come here and it's not counted at the same level. Can you imagine going to another dimension and trying to be like, listen, I graduated high school, but we don't know what they taught you in your high school at all.
Right. Absolutely.
We don't have any of the curriculum of Universe Zeta Prime.
No, we have no evidence that's even true.
Yeah.
We
don't know. Quite frankly, we don't know what to do with you.
Yeah.
My rebuttal would just be like,
disappear.
Can you keep me in that hotel room?
Because this is pretty sweet.
You're going to ask me questions.
Yeah.
I'll live stream.
Yeah.
Keep the grilled cheeses coming. I'll do whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah, that doesn't sound so bad. I could definitely exist in a hotel room with room service pretty indefinitely.
And then immediately, I would start being like, now let me tell you a story that I came up with in my dimension.
Yeah.
Tony Stark found himself in a cave with a box of, and they're like, "That's Iron Man." I'm like, "Okay, yeah." No,
so you
I knew
have
that,
that here. Okay, see.
Okay. The Addams Family. And they're like, "This is really intriguing." And now you're the inventor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That is a good idea. I remember that mom and dad would try to sell us on the not like we had any control whether we moved or not. But like when we moved, they'd be like, "You're going to a new place. Like you can be like anybody who you want, like any person you want." But just wherever I went, there I was.
Yeah, it was always the same dullard.
I know.
Everywhere we went.
I never took advantage of it and like cultivated like a cool new Kristen attitude. It was always just me.
The name's Spruce Rogers. Yeah.
Spruce Rogers. That's really good.
I can really shred the bagpipe.
Yeah.
But I quit playing that thing when I moved out of Connecticut.
Yeah.
Connecticut, we used to call it.
It's for losers. Anyway.
Hey, Spruce, hang out with me. No, don't listen to him, Spruce. Come over to my house.
Spruce Rogers is a really good name. So yeah, the man from Torrid, the theory about this story is that exactly what we're saying. Somebody from another dimension who accidentally blooped into ours.
I love it.
In their dimension that there is a Torrid, that bank is there. It's funny to think of other dimensions having things as mundane as banks.
Sure.
But absolutely.
It's just another version of our world.
I know.
Bank of America could easily sound like some fake brand made up for a movie or something.
Absolutely. So that's the main thing. Or that maybe he's a time traveler who accidentally like blooped back or forward or whatever from a time. Well,
he's traveling on planes.
Yeah. He's used to the idea of planes. He's not like, what is this mechanical bird in the sky?
If somehow the country of Torrid is founded.
Yeah.
Do you lose your mind?
Oh, I
like
see.
in our lifetime, like in like 20 years, they're like, we've decided to call ourselves Torrid. And you're like,
Guys,
do they know
remember
this
that story?
Or like, is this possible? And then a bunch of people who live in Torrid are like, oh no, I might be the man from Torrid.
At any moment, am I going to take a step and then I'm just like blooped into an airplane?
One of us leaves this dimension and goes back in time.
Right, it's a guarantee.
Yeah.
So which one's it going to be, boys?
This stinks.
Well, here's why that's unlikely. Here are the origins of the story of the man from Torrid. No. It's very interesting.
I don't want to hear it.
So I found this from the website anomalyinfo.com, a classic old website. So if you want to go check this out, I highly recommend it. The background is all forest green. Like the entire page is forest green and then white. It's great.
I want to leave the room before you say whatever you're about to say.
No, I'm so sorry. It basically seems like this. Okay, so anybody citing the story of the man from Torrid, it's basically all misattributed footnotes that make it seem like this was a story that was gradually made up along the way. It started as kind of like a sentence and then turned into the story that I just told you. So when you find references to it online and talking about its origins, they mainly say that the story comes from works by Colin Wilson and Tom Sleman, but the references to it the references that they both have, those two authors to it, are super short. And so they literally can't be the source material for the big story that we hear today because it's not there. So the earliest place that people say it's from is Colin Wilson's 1981 book called Directory of Possibilities, which was a bunch of kind of like short stories and essays about paranormal stuff. And it literally only has one sentence about the man from Torrid or the story, or, that connects to the story, in an entry written by somebody named Paul Begg. This is it. This is one of the big references where people are like, yeah, it's from this book. And in 1954, a passport check in Japan is alleged to have produced a man with papers issued by the nation of Torrid. That's it. So people say, like, oh yeah, this story was from this book in 1901. That's it. Then the next reference that you can find, like in print or, documents or anything, is from that guy, Tom Sleman's 1999 book, Strange But True, Mysterious and Bizarre People. And this is only 3 sentences. So he says, there have been many reports of visitors from other planets dropping in on Earth. In 1954, the Japanese authorities detained a man trying to enter the country with a passport that revealed he was from an unheard country named Torrid. A thorough check was made by the customs officials to see if there was such a place anywhere on Earth, but they drew a blank. The stranger refused to throw light on the whereabouts of the mysterious nation of Torrid and quickly left Japan. So in this book, he gives no source for that story. So you can kind of only assume that it came from reading Begg's one-line story and then adding on to it, filling in the gaps that was left from that one-line story. Then the complete version that is like what I just told you seems to have come from a website called Before It's News in 2012, run by somebody named Terrence Aim. I looked it up and that website still exists today. It's like a very scary conspiracy theory website.
Oh, okay.
That I don't recommend. So Aim said that part of the story that he was telling on his website came from various books about strange happenings in the 50s. So meaning that he kind of like pooled a bunch of knowledge that he had from books here and there together to kind of tell the complete story. But he doesn't specifically cite any of those books. He does cite a website that posted Tom Sleeman's like 3-sentence account that I just told you. So again, the same way that Tom Sleeman seems to have filled in the gaps from the 1 sentence, it seems like Terrence Aim filled in the gaps from those 3 sentences, and it became this story, which then caught on.
So it's arguably old and recent.
Yes. So, you know, who knows where Paul Begg got that 1 sentence, where it came from, but it seems like the story that we're telling today is just kind of embellishment.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's from the standpoint of like the way that stories evolve and the way the game of telephone works. And it becomes part of like folklore.
Right.
Because I heard that completely out of context where it was, you know, just like any ghost story anyone's ever told you, where it's not attributed to anything. It's just a story that exists.
Right.
You can choose to believe it or not.
Yeah, it's kind of just tracking an urban legend.
Yeah. Even still, like to be able to point to the origin point where we first heard about it doesn't mean that it didn't happen.
Well, it genuinely doesn't mean that it didn't happen because maybe Paul Begg heard it from someone. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But in the strictest sense of it,
yes.
If you're going to be a lawyer about it, this doesn't prove it didn't happen.
No.
It certainly doesn't paint it in a
because even
plausible light.
Paul Begg's first account does not have all the details of the latest account that became the story.
Right.
So, you know, prob's not.
Fair enough. Okay. The man from Torrid is so compelling.
I know.
It's such a compelling idea.
Totally. It's so good.
Somebody just being like, no, I'm traveling through here, thanks.
I'm so bushed.
Sorry, where is this? Huh? What's that?
Oh, Torrid.
Here in the country? What does it say? Torrid.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what that is. That in and of itself is like
where I live.
As a springboard for possibilities. You can go 1,000 directions just from there. It's fantastic. Yeah. And it all sounds so like it's so mundane to be like they got him a hotel room.
I know. It's so there are aspects of it that are so real lifey that
helps
it makes
with credibility that it's so
it makes it sound legit. Yeah.
Blah. Yeah. Damn. The man from Torrid.
I know.
If only. That also reminds me, I don't know if you watched it. I think that it was oft maligned. It was one of the actually Lost, one of the knockoff shows that came out after the popularity of Lost. There was a show called Fringe.
No, I didn't watch it, but I've heard that's good.
I really
feel
enjoyed
like it's
it.
Not that maligned.
I watched the whole series as it was airing. I really, really enjoyed myself with it. Sometimes they went way too far with it. The idea was that it was all mad science.
Yeah.
And a lot of it hinged on multiple universes. And one of the first touches of like 2 universes messing with each other was that basically the membrane between universes got too thin for whatever reason. Yeah. There is a doppelganger of you in every subsequent universe.
I remember you telling me about
and
this.
They merged. So there was just like a guy who there was like an earthquake type event happened, and then they found in the rubble a guy that had 4 arms and 4 legs. Yeah. Because 2 versions of the same guy from alternate universes got merged into the same body. Right. And it was like totally disturbing. Yeah. Genuinely like
was it a good enough
freaky
CGI job that it was kind of upsetting, or did it look so fake that you're just kind of like, that would be freaky, but I have some removed from it?
Yeah, it's hard to remember now. I don't think it was even CGI. I think it was practical.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
If I'm remembering correctly. And I really enjoyed that show, even when it was dopey. Yeah. And it did get pretty damn dopey. It was still just like it was cotton candy. It went down smooth.
Well, I had Pacey in it, and I'll watch him in just about anything.
Yeah, and I really like what is her name? She's now on Manhunter. She's terrific.
I don't know her name.
Oh, she's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know her name. I'm just not coming up with it at the moment.
Yeah, is it the girlfriend on Manhunter or it's the woman?
The woman. She's like one of the crime.
Are you thinking of Carrie
pathologists.
Coon by any chance?
Nope.
Okay, everybody thinks that's Carrie Coon and it's not. I don't know the lady's name.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
she's so damn good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fringe.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's it.
that's it. That's
Yeah.
the man from Torrid.
Yeah.
All right. It's my turn now, and I'm going to tell you about something. Quite frankly, I'm curious to see how this goes.
Okay.
So this weekend, we will see the release of, quite frankly, probably one of the biggest movies of all time.
Yes.
When Avengers Endgame is released. It is more than just one movie, more than just a singular franchise. It's the culmination of over 10 years of filmmaking and 22 movies of setup. I genuinely am viewing this as not only like a fan of these movies because I really enjoy them, but sort of a feat of the film industry.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing.
Nothing like this has ever happened before.
Yes.
Nothing. Even long-running franchises like James Bond, there's connective DNA that can take you all the way back to the beginning in some sense. But it's almost like 20 franchises rolled into one, whereas the Avengers really is a cohesive unit. It's all one story.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So here's my thing. Over the course of these 22 movies, we've had, Iron Man, which is sort of like an action comedy movie. We've had Thor, which has elements of fantasy. Spider-Man, which has elements of the sort of like 80s teen melodrama comedy kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What are we missing in there? So many other subgenres are represented, not horror.
Yeah.
And so here's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Avengers Endgame is the end of an era. But they're not going to stop making movies.
No.
Really ever, probably. Yes. How can they work horror in there? So I'm going to take you through some of the history of Marvel horror characters.
Oh, cool.
To posit a future where they finally get creepy with it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. They're very famously, Disney just bought Fox for like $71 billion.
Yeah.
Seemingly just to get the rights to the X-Men.
Right.
I'm sure there are other motivations as well, but these movies are huge money.
Totally.
So they have a lot of characters in their toy box.
Oh, yeah.
What might they be able to do? And so
I like this idea.
Let's dig into this. Some of the lesser known Marvel
in another
characters.
Universe.
Yeah, in another universe.
Yeah.
In the universe where Torrid exists,
yeah,
you might get a Marvel movie that would really scare you.
Avengers of Horror.
So here we go.
Yeah.
These are some of the Marvel horror characters.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with one of the biggest ones that exists. This character already got to have a trilogy of movies. Granted, they're not folded into the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we consider it. Blade.
Oh, I didn't know that he was part of the Marvel world.
He is.
Okay.
You're familiar with this character?
Yes.
Tell me what you know.
It has something to do with vampires. It's Wesley Snipes, Stephen Dorff.
Yeah.
Is Kate Beckinsale involved?
I don't think so, but she's in like Underworld. She's in a very similar.
Is Underworld werewolves?
Maybe. I think they're
Or
lichens, but I don't know what the difference is.
I think you're right.
Thank you.
Yeah, is Blade a vampire hunter, but he's also a vampire or
yes.
something? Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
You see, Blade actually was the son. He was being born, and his mom was bitten by Deacon Frost, a vampire.
What a name.
As she was literally giving birth to Blade, she was being bitten by Deacon Frost.
Well, that sounds horrible.
She dies. Blade is born now a mix of vampire and human. He's called the Daywalker.
He's riding the line.
All of their strengths.
Daywalker, that's awesome.
None of their weaknesses.
Oh.
He's got superhuman strength. He can super duper heal. He's got to eat blood, but he does it humanely.
How does he do it?
I think he just like slurps on packets of blood from like donations.
Like he steals
and stuff.
them from donations or something?
Quite possibly. I don't know how.
Gross.
Maybe there's a nicer way than that, because actually that just makes me go like, oh, there are people who need like.
Yeah. That's not that humanely. There must be a way.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like people who are like just about to die and he finds a way.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
They probably explain it very quickly.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they get away from it fast. All of these characters are going to end up being anti-heroes.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like there's a single character that Marvel will come up with that they won't eventually be like, and then they're a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they have their own books.
I think of Blade going like this. You won't be able to see it visually, but like swinging like a big sword up overhead and then like bringing it down and having one knee up and then like looking up slowly.
It was totally that era, especially with the movies, the very like Matrix, long leather coat world.
I can picture his sunglasses.
Yeah, without a doubt. He also had a katana. So.
Oh. Sick.
You know. Yeah. Anyway, that was a trilogy of movies. He is in the Marvel world and yet has not been folded in yet. My theory is that...
I feel like it wouldn't fit in very well.
I agree, but I don't think that any of these characters fit into the conventional Marvel world that we know.
Yeah.
You'd have to start a sort of like distinct separate label that's folded under the umbrella of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I totally get that. I'm just saying I can see why Blade hasn't been folded in.
Yes, without a doubt. Let's move on to Ghostwriter.
Okay. Oh man, I did not know that was Marvel either.
Yeah. So Ghostwriter, what do you know? What does he look like? You know what he
Nicolas
looks like?
Cage.
Just feel like my skull's on fire. He says that at one point in one of those movies.
I know. I've actually never seen them, but I'm aware of that. Doesn't he just look like a flaming skull on a person riding a motorcycle?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
The Ghostwriter is more of a title than anything else. Multiple people have been turned into the writer.
Oh, okay.
The Ghostwriter.
Is there an entity that is the Ghostwriter that like, do they have a shade of that when they turn into the Ghostwriter or no, it's always unique?
I think it's kind of like the mask. You know, Stanley Ipkiss can wear the mask and he's like very like sort of like wacky and cartoony bent, but then Dorian wears it and he's like a demon.
It makes you more of what you are.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what Tom Hanks says about fame. He says that it doesn't change you necessarily. It makes you more of whatever you already were.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's a good line, right?
Yeah, that is a good line.
Yeah.
Makes you more of what you are.
So if you're like a nice guy, you're probably going to use your fame. And like, that doesn't mean you're like 100% nice all the time, but like, you're going to do nice things with it. If you're somebody who's already a little bit of a jerk, you're going to take that power and do not nice things with it.
I wonder if he ever fell in love in an inexplicable way in real life.
I wonder how he and Rita Wilson got together.
How come he's not in the Marvel movies?
I would love that.
That'd be great.
I love Tom Hanks.
I love it when old Hollywood
That's not
gets
like a world
into
rocker, but I'm just saying. I just love him. I'm happy to see him anywhere.
I like it when like conventional Hollywood gets folded in.
It's a surprise. You're like, oh.
Like Robert Redford was in Captain America.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Or Annette Bening in Captain Marvel, and I lost my cool.
Whoa, Annette Bening in Captain Marvel was
I did not see that coming.
It was shocking. It's probably one of the most surprising moments in a Marvel movie for me was when Annette Bening showed up.
I lost it. I just lost it.
It was incredible.
When she
really went for it.
Do
your pose.
Time of her life. This
is gonna work best in the video version.
Yeah. Okay. So she's wearing jeans. She's wearing an outfit similar to mine, and she sticks her hand in her pocket. Thumb out. Get that thumb out. And boom, hand out, and she's warding off something. like that.
Like she goes to destroy someone.
Yeah.
Casual as hell.
Because she doesn't need to do anymore.
No, she doesn't need her full power.
Yeah, so why waste it?
Charisma out the wazoo.
Oh, insane. Yeah. Absolutely insane. I can see why she and Warren Beatty have been together for so long. That is a charisma fest if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, that's true. So, all right. So back to Ghostwriter.
Yeah.
So the first incarnation of the Ghostwriter, this is the character that was eventually played by Nick Cage in 2 movies, is a stunt motorcyclist named Johnny Blaze.
Great.
Really interested in some of the names. Here.
We're always interested in names.
Oh, I love a good name, and there are some like real like. Are all these characters born to become the like monster they became? Johnny Blaze becomes the Ghostwriter with a skull on fire?
Yeah.
Johnny Blaze does?
There's a lot of stuff that's like either on theme for what happens to them or there's kind of like alliteration.
Right, yep.
You know?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So he in order to save his father, he sold his soul to Satan.
Okay.
And then his father died anyway.
I knew it. I knew that was going to happen. So now he's mad at Satan.
Yeah. Also, it turned out that now I'm mad at Satan.
Yeah.
So now he's mad at Satan? Yeah. That's like in a writer's room. It also turns out later that it wasn't Satan. It was Mephisto in disguise.
Ooh.
Not that means anything to me, but it was Mephisto in disguise.
I really enjoy Mephisto. Mephistopheles. Yeah. That's a really good name.
Now, Ghostwriter, beyond the 2 Nick Cage movies, did get introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe because they have a TV show on ABC called Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, right. Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
You ever seen that before?
Should I say a spoiler for this show?
For Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah.
Is it still on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I tell
well,
people to fast forward like 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay. 30 seconds. I'm going to spoil something from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. real quick. Additional spoiler alert. I do not watch this show.
Okay.
But they brought Ghostwriter onto the show. He's played by just like some like another character, but he's not like there's no interaction with the movies.
Okay.
What does connect to the movies is in the first two Avengers movies, there's a character named Phil Coulson. He's like a very sort of like everyman who's just amazed to see these superheroes.
Yeah.
He loves them. He dies in the Avengers movies. He's the lead character on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh.
At the end of the season.
As Phil Coulson?
Yes.
Okay.
They brought him back to life. It's a whole thing. But at the end of
Is he like the boss kind of?
Yes.
Okay.
At the end of a season, he's fighting a bad guy, and he basically just goes like, "You wouldn't like me when I let my beast out."
Uh-oh.
And then he turns into Ghostwriter.
Oh.
I watched a clip of it. I watched a clip of it, and I was straight up like, they're not. This isn't connected to the movies anymore.
Yeah.
They can say this is in the same world, but just some guy.
Well, it sounds like they kind of keep the Ghost Rider movies divorced from the Avengers movies world, right? So like,
well, but this is also like, I don't know when the Ghost Rider movies were, but they were definitely like years upon years ago.
Yeah.
The Marvel movies are like reserved for like a specific set of creative, like a specific creative team that makes them.
Right. So what I'm saying is, I'm sure that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is just ignoring that other Ghost Rider movies happened. And they're just like,
I just think it's ridiculous to take like a character that we're supposed to know and love, and turn him into a demon, as if it's like a one-use superpower.
Yeah,
it's just like a silly thing. All right,
there had to be story beyond that. There had to,
I guess.
Yeah.
So here's the next character that I've got. His name is it's the son of Satan. Is the name of the character.
Oh, okay, right to the point.
The character's name is Daimon Hellstrom.
Oh boy, okay. Yikes.
He has a sister.
I guess they use some restraint in not naming him Daimon Hellstrom.
I don't know if that, I guess that's true. Technically that will serve as restraint in this case.
Yeah.
He has a sister named Satana.
Awesome.
Seems like a good guy. Dad's a devil, mom's a human. Bit of a nasty shock for her when she found out.
Oh my God.
Anyway, Daimon Hellstrom and Satana
good job.
Grew up separately. Daimon became a good guy. Satana became a bad guy.
Did they have to fight?
Yeah, they fought.
How'd it go?
The family didn't go good.
Not well.
It wasn't good.
Who won?
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, here's a character I genuinely like.
Yeah.
All the other ones I've just been making fun of. Here's a character that I thought was kind of cool. I've never heard of this character before. It's a character just named Terror.
Okay.
A strange name for like a character.
Yeah. Well, there's like Venom.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Mm-hmm. So here's the idea behind Terror. Yeah. I genuinely think that this is really freaky and neat.
Yeah.
Terror is an immortal being, and he's a zombie.
Okay.
He's like a cursed human whose like physical form is like decaying flesh, and they are dead yet alive.
Okay.
Here's Terror's deal. If you met Terror like today and now, he'd be like, yeah, I'm going to help you stop the bad guys. I can stop the particularly evil ones because I can't die. Stuff like that. Here's what his deal is. He was a caveman.
Okay.
This goes back to like the cradle of life, the beginnings of human life. He's like a Cro-Magnon man.
Yeah.
There was a group of Cro-Magnon people that were being terrorized by a demon bear. They had to face it and fight it. And this guy was the one who delivered the killing blow.
Oh.
And as a, quote, curse for his victory.
A curse for his victory?
Yeah, which I like that phrase.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like monkey's paw, right?
Yeah,
You've achieved something, and yet what you get for your trouble is not something that you would want.
That's awesome.
He suffers like the same curse as this demon bear had.
Oh, I wonder if the bear was like the bear from Annihilation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm picturing. And suddenly his flesh starts decaying off his body.
Oh,
he starts like turning green, and he's rotted.
That is cool.
During the Dark Ages, he was known as a man named Shrek. And this is like the Max Shrek kind of idea, like the old, what Shrek used to mean before it was a silly ogre.
I was going to say before it was donkey.
Yeah.
Before Shrek was donkey.
Before Shrek was donkey.
Yeah.
But Shrek is a word that means fear, scare.
Oh.
So he was
like
known.
Shriek.
Yes, like Shriek. He was known as Shrek and he was hideous and ugly, and he did horrible things, like he murdered people, and he was a true monster.
Yeah.
And then at one point, somehow, he fell in love with a woman, and she loved him back.
Oh.
But you understand the nature of the way that he lives. She eventually died.
Yeah.
And he had her hand. One of his superpowers that I have not mentioned yet is that his skin and his blood are both gross, icky slime, and they have an element of adhesiveness to them.
Oh.
He can, if you chop his arm off,
he
can chop your arm off and just put it on.
Oh.
He can adopt body parts from other people. That's what Terror can do. When his loved one dies, he has her hand attached to him for all time.
As his hand?
Not as his hand, like it's like in his body, so that she can be a part of him. He can always be with her.
Okay, because I was going to say, if he just has like one tiny feminine hand and then...
that's
it's cool and all.
Screw it. That is what happened.
Yeah.
But I
That's very cool.
I've never heard a story like this before.
No, me neither.
Where has this character been?
Yeah. Somebody needs to dredge up Terror.
Yeah, let's get Terror going again.
That's a really cool, creepy story.
Now, I will say, there might be a reason why the character went away. I read one thing about some of the exploits that he's had.
Yeah.
At some point, the character, the Punisher, dunked Terror into a tank of piranha.
Oh.
But don't worry, Terror had already injected himself with poison, thus killing the piranha so he wouldn't be eaten.
Okay. Well, Terror had some good forethought.
Yeah. I wonder if, like, at that point, if they were like, let's cancel the book.
I would also think that anything like biting Terror would just get stuck to him if his blood is kind of adhesive.
That's interesting. I don't know if
just have like a whole bunch of like piranha hanging off of him.
Right. That's a good point. I don't know if fish are compatible, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true. Their DNA might not.
Anyway, very curious about Taylor. Would like to know, Terror would like to know more, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Elsa Bloodstone.
Oh my God.
Elsa Bloodstone has basically just been compared to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like, put simply, she's a monster hunter. And then
what a good name for a monster hunter.
The one thing that I had any interest in writing down is this. She lives in Bloodstone Manor with her mom and Adam. Oh, who's Adam, you ask? The Frankenstein monster.
Oh, okay. All right.
I also went on to find out that Dracula, the Mummy, and the Wolfman are technically in the Marvel Universe too.
Oh.
Not the originals.
Yeah.
Like literary
talking about this
literary modifications of so like Universal and Marvel incompatible.
Right.
But like I think we learned about the Universal stuff that like if you put bolts on Frankenstein's neck, you can't do that. That's a Universal thing.
Right.
But theoretically, Marvel could have a reanimated man that was made by Dr. Victor Frankenstein. They might get away with that.
Yeah. Interesting.
It would be confusing on a consumer
level. That's such an obscure back door, but a back door nonetheless.
Yes, yeah. Very, very weird.
Huh.
Let's move on to this guy. Have you ever heard of Morbius, the living vampire?
Of course I've heard of Morbius, living vampire. He's my fave.
Here's the thing. Michael Morbius was born with a rare blood condition, which also had the effect of making him quote-unquote ugly. This is the character origin.
That's tough.
Of Michael Morbius. He experimented on himself trying to cure his condition and ended up coming up with a treatment that involved electroshock therapy and vampire DNA. Vampire bat DNA.
Man, that's intense. You have to really want it.
He really bungled it, and he turned into a vampire.
He got botched.
Yeah. He turned himself into a vampire. That's what this character is.
So he was just trying, was his motivation, was he in pain for his blood disorder? Or he was just like, I hate being ugly. This stinks.
I think it was
everybody's hot to trot on Lestat.
I think, yeah. Man, how about that?
Trot on Lestat.
Get working on the new book, Ricey.
Us Lestatians are waiting. We've talked way more about the vampire Lestat tonight than I anticipated.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I guess both then. Yeah, because it's a big length to go just because you feel like you're a little busted.
Yeah. Well,
although that is very painful.
Sadly, it only made him more butt ugly.
Oh, no.
And he came out looking like a bat. He looks like a bat. I've looked at pictures of Morbius, the living nightmare.
Is he small, like a bat?
No, he's big. He's pale. He can't be in the sun. He has that flat sort of bat nose and long, pointy bat ears.
Like Bat Boy.
He's like a bat boy, yeah. And he's called a pseudo vampire, and he will be played by Jared Leto in an upcoming Sony movie.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Not connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
They wouldn't allow that.
Unsurprisingly.
We're coming toward the
Wow.
end. I'm gonna start moving fast through these because
Sure.
they're bizarre. Sleepwalker.
Uh-huh.
Never heard of this character before. Sleepwalker is the name of a character and also the name of a race of creatures.
Okay.
Essentially, you go to sleep at night, your mind is vulnerable.
To the Sleepwalker.
Kind of.
Yeah.
There exists a dimension full of creatures that might try to inhabit your mind, and the Sleepwalkers are essentially the guardians that keep demons from, inhabiting your vulnerable brain while you are sleeping.
Oh, man.
I actually
That's a cool idea.
like this.
Yeah. Also, I really like the word somnambulism.
Somnambulist.
Which is like sleepwalking, and I feel like they could work that in there somehow.
Sure. Yeah.
There's probably somebody named like Somnambulous. Like ending with US in the comic.
If it were up to me and I had to write in the style of all this stuff, I would say that there was a man named John Nambulus who was cursed to never be able to sleep. Yeah. And then he tried to cure himself.
That fits in perfectly.
Yeah, he fell into a vat of warm milk. And now he can't wake up, and he guards the sleep realm. That's my...
It's actually pretty great. It's actually pretty great.
According to the list I'm reading you, it would work.
Yeah.
John Nambulus, the somnambulist. Okay.
Or Sam Nambulist.
Sam Nambulus. All right, Deathlok.
Yeah.
Deathlok is also sort of a title.
Okay.
Soldiers who die in battle are brought back to life and attached to a bunch of cybernetic body parts to do work for the government.
Oh, God.
That's pretty damn horrifying.
Yeah.
You're a zombie, but you're not. You're
right.
you, but you're not.
And you're
half
brought
machine.
back just for the period of purpose of being used.
Yes.
Not even brought back to go back to your life in some way.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's dark.
It's almost darker than anything else on here because in a sick way it feels feasible.
I know.
It's very RoboCop, and RoboCop was like darkly like comedic and almost like a satire of like...
I've actually never seen RoboCop.
Oh, it's sickening.
Yeah.
It would make you want to puke.
It looks gross.
Yeah, it's very gross. All right, Man-Thing.
Yeah. Oh. Man-Thing.
This is a weird slop monster from the bayou.
Okay.
Everything I looked up is just the same thing as Swamp Thing.
Yeah. That's really funny.
Literally the same thing as Swamp Thing. I looked it up. Man-Thing came out first by 2 months.
Okay.
Which a lot of people point out doesn't mean a damn thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not like, Man-Thing came out and 2 months later they released a Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
They came out at the same time.
Right.
It's unclear if one ripped the other off. There's also a different Bayou monster thing that existed a few decades prior, so maybe they both ripped that thing off. No one's really sure.
Yeah.
What I do know is this. In DC, there are a number of horror characters that, quite frankly, feel kind of natural to me. Like, Marvel has really crushed the movie universe.
Yeah.
DC's struggled in that arena. DC, I feel like, could crush the horror genre
That's
with
true.
their characters.
Maybe that would be the way for them to lean and kind of, it's like, still kind of playing off the success of the Avengers and things like that, but going in a different direction.
Do
so it's
something
not just
different.
trying to totally ape it and fail.
Yep, do something different.
Yeah.
Because, like, Swamp Thing, I read a bunch of... I'm not a comic book reader.
Yeah.
I read a bunch of Swamp Thing
I remember.
comics. There's, like, a whole thing in that where he's, like, he's an advocate for the green, which is all plant life. And he fights against, like, his villains are all colored red because to oppose the green, it's all about the flesh.
Oh.
And so there are these disgusting, like, meat monsters, and it's truly...
Yeah.
disturbing and
Sounds
messed
like
up.
it.
Man-Thing. So Swamp Thing was a guy that was doing research, and then he got eaten up by a swamp, and he's not even a man anymore.
Yeah.
He's like a collection of cells that he's a creature made out of, like, swamp goo that thinks it was once a man.
Oh, okay.
That's what Swamp Thing is. It's kind of more nuanced than being like, I turned into a goo thing.
Yeah.
Here's what I've got on Man-Thing. He was trying to make superhuman serum, like what they had with Captain America.
Yeah.
And then something went wrong, and also magic got involved, and he turned into Man-Thing.
Oh, okay. Was there also mud involved or something like
So
that?
much less interesting when you throw the word magic in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can tell me any pseudoscience.
And also, it just seems so different from usual superheroes. Like, magic is not usually involved. It's usually some freak accident or something
Right.
like that, or like something from the hell realm.
Sure.
Magic does sound just like a little more benign in some way.
And we had to get it done.
And like stumbling into it. Yeah.
And whatever, he's
Still we
man
use
thing.
magic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's man thing.
Yeah.
Like Swamp Thing is
There's lack
really
of certain something.
disturbing and bizarre. It's like
Right.
there are like these like little slug things that like they can eat each other and gain knowledge from each other. This is a true thing about real life.
Yeah.
If you put like a little gross little a leech
Yeah.
in a maze, like a mouse trying to go find the cheese, you put a drop of blood in that maze, it can find its way to the blood.
Yeah.
If you cut up that leech and feed it to a bunch of other leeches, they know how to do the maze.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a fact.
That is so insane.
That's a fact. They can gain knowledge by consuming
right.
another leech.
The
So the
world
idea
is so crazy.
Oh, 100%. So the idea was that this guy fell into the bayou and got eaten by these leeches plus some weird science stuff.
Right.
They ate him and acquired his knowledge.
Right.
And so Swamp Thing isn't that guy. That guy's dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this
He's a
thing
new
has all
thing.
his memories
Yeah.
and is trying to do the right thing.
Uh-huh.
It's just so much. It's still stupid.
Yes.
It's still wacky.
Yeah, but like a little more grounded in a weird
Yeah.
way.
It's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So here are some alternatives
Okay.
to all these characters. Here's things that Marvel could do.
Yeah.
I found out about something called the Howling Commandos.
Ooh, okay.
This is a particular operative team. Think of like Guardians of the Galaxy, how
Yeah.
it's made of like a tree man and a big muscle
Yeah.
guy and whatever.
Right.
A green lady.
Uh-huh. And a hottie.
Howling Commandos
Yeah.
is all made up of monsters.
Cool.
So like Man-Thing is part of this.
Yeah.
Blade might be part of this. They would be a team that would be working together. And maybe the Avengers do stuff that's like on a galactic level. They're going to save all this stuff. The Howling Commandos get all the jobs that the average person is not allowed to know about.
Yeah.
They have to operate in the shadows because people can't
Right.
know about vampires and werewolves. We'd go nuts.
Well, also maybe like the Avengers are kind of like dealing with space and stuff, and maybe the Howling Commandos are like the home team dealing with things that are like on Earth.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I feel like they could be like the paranormal task force.
Yeah.
Right? Like Iron
That's
Man.
cool.
What's Iron Man going to do against a ghost?
Right.
You know,
Yeah. He's not equipped for
an
that.
angry ghost.
Right.
Yeah. Here's another way they could go. There's a string of popular comic books called Marvel Zombies.
Mm-hmm.
This is like werewolf is a zombie and going nuts and eating people and stuff. It's very Walking Dead meets Marvel, and it's like there's an outer space monster that comes and they eat him too. It's like it goes a little nuts.
Yeah.
They went ahead and they also made Marvel Zombies versus the Army of Darkness, where Ash from the Evil Dead is running around trying to stop the Marvel zombies.
Huh. Okay.
It didn't seem great.
Yeah.
My point is...
That doesn't really appeal to me.
My point is, so far, I mean, one of the biggest strengths of the Marvel Universe is that it's all connected and everything builds on each other, but I still kind of wish we got to see sort of like what if kind of stories. It'd be cool to just like see a thing where like Tony Stark gets bitten and turns into, a zombie for a while.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Sure.
And everyone would understand this is like a dream state almost.
Right.
This is like not part of the real story, but like it's fun to do.
Right. It's a little offshoot. It's like almost like fanfic, but kind of like blown up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It would just be like wacky and fun.
You don't have to factor it into like your main storyline as canon that affects it.
Yep, exactly.
A side mission.
But it's unclear if Marvel will ever do any of this stuff. They might relegate some of these characters to like shows on a streaming platform or something like that. But I still feel
know though they're going to be missing this. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's my thing. Is I feel like it's just something. It's a genre that is missing from the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well, but I also mean like missing it. Like they're going to want to have another big boom of things.
Yeah, and I feel like that would be a fun one. Like some of the other like horror universes that have come like get criticized heavily. The Conjuring Universe is the most successful horror cinematic universe possible, with 2 Conjuring movies and like presently. What, like
a whole
4 or
bunch,
5 spinoffs?
If not more, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know the Curse of La Llorona was one of them.
3 or 4 Annabelles. Yeah, the Curse of La Llorona is
The Nun, the Crooked Man's coming out.
Yep, and then I'm trying to remember, What the hell's that movie with also Patrick Wilson and whatever?
No, you're thinking of Insidious?
Yes, that's not part of the universe, right?
No,
Okay.
weirdly, those were made by James Wan, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just strange.
I know.
The same thing.
I know.
But like that's big. Obviously, Universal tried to do the Dark Universe where they would connect all, like Frankenstein and the Mummy and stuff.
Right.
And that failed right out of the gate with the Tom Cruise Mummy.
It's surprising they just shelved it based on just that.
Just burn it.
Yeah.
Let's not try to do better.
Thing.
Yeah.
Like one thing, a pattern is 3 things. Like, so even if you don't go to 3, I'm surprised they didn't go to 2.
Yeah.
Because you could say, okay, the second one failed. This isn't looking good.
Guess what?
I get that.
The first 2 Marvel Cinematic Universes were Iron Man, which is probably one of the most fun superhero movies ever made.
Yeah.
And then The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton.
Oh, yeah.
Which was really weird and didn't feel tonally similar at all.
Right.
And they just kind of pretended it didn't exist.
Yeah.
Thor wasn't that great.
Right.
Just keep working on it. Try it. You're not
know.
really making individual movies anymore. You're making a TV show.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that I've ever come across in studying how to write for TV is episode 1, your pilot, is obviously super important. It sets everything up. The most important episode is episode 2.
Yeah.
Here's where you're starting to establish your pattern and see if people want to come back for more.
Right. Because people give pilots and first things a little bit of leeway. So okay, we're getting to know them. I'm not going to be totally hooked right away. But then if by the second episode you're not really hooked, then you're done.
They could have done a better second movie. It is my feeling.
Yeah.
And quite frankly,
surprising.
They might have made the smartest choice because to my knowledge now, what they were originally planning to do was have Johnny Depp star in The Invisible Man. They were going to make Bride of Frankenstein.
Right. Yeah.
With Angelina Jolie rather than do Frankenstein first.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
But to my knowledge, Jason Blum and Blumhouse are now in control of those movies.
Oh,
Blumhouse
that's good.
is crushing it
in
terms of making interesting modern horror movies. They have a tried and true method. And they go for low budget, high concept, and I feel like that's so much better than throwing millions of dollars at Tom Cruise to tumble around in an airplane for the Mummy.
Totally. Also, for him to set up, fun fact behind the scenes, set up massage tents for cast to take advantage of, but then they're getting a hard sell about Scientology while they're getting a massage.
Is that true?
Yes.
I would handle that.
Yeah, I would too. I'd feel that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now I'm doubting myself. He definitely has done that. I think it was on The Mummy. It could be on another movie.
A little shiatsu
I'm not
with
totally sure.
Scientology?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Nothing wrong with
Do
that.
they have the butt inflation corner or anything where they inflate the seat of your pants?
They offer that to you as a complimentary service.
Yeah.
On behalf of Mr. Cruz, we'd like to offer you this butt inflation.
We'd like to offer you more cushion.
Yeah. For, whatever you'd like to do with it, pushing or otherwise.
Everyone look up Tom Cruise Valkyrie butt.
It's one of my favorite things on the internet.
It's incredible. And then there are a couple universes that we may never see.
Yeah.
The biggest one to me is, quite frankly, confusing. I myself have taken a stab at a mental exercise seeing how you could possibly pull this off. The connected slasher universe.
Yeah.
Now, hold on. I know no one wants this.
I do. I would totally take this.
If it's done well, people want it. From the outset,
I'll watch anything horror-y or slashery pretty much.
I used to think of the following. This goes back. This is a few years old, this idea, but I think that it might still be the beginning germ of an idea.
Yeah.
I was thinking about all the famous slashers: Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Leatherface, Freddy Krueger. And I almost started to lump them into teams in a weird way. Freddy Krueger could easily lead a pack of killers to try to do something. Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees both being tall, silent killers in masks.
They could just be his thugs.
Yeah, they're almost identical.
Yeah,
that's
totally true.
They could be on 2 separate teams that are going up against each other or something.
Yep.
Freddy is leading the charge with Jason against Michael Myers and I don't know, some other really talkative, Chucky.
Yeah,
Chucky or something. Right. Chucky and Freddy are fighting with each other.
Right.
And they're corralling all these serial killers or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That works.
And just start connecting them all. Who cares? Which would then lead to a spin-off of movies called The Final Girls, where Jamie Lee Curtis starts getting all of the characters that survived those various movies and forming a task force of all the final girls to go finally kill Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers. Maybe that's even the central conflict is two teams, a team of survivors and a team of killers, or
Right.
something.
And one has to destroy the other.
Yeah.
And this once and for all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I
would totally watch that.
It's almost
especially if
weirder
Jamie
that
Lee
no
Curtis
one,
was in it.
I know.
Yeah.
It's almost weirder that no one has tried that.
I guess they do the little mini team up things, or not even team up, but like Freddy versus Jason.
Even
and
that
stuff
was
like
that was 20 years ago.
Oh God, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't do this stuff. They don't
No,
make
they
the
don't
slasher
really.
movies anymore.
No, I know.
They haven't. They made they rebooted
I think
Nightmare on
they-
Elm Street like a decade ago.
Yeah. But I think because Halloween was such a huge hit that, although I'm surprised that we haven't heard more news about them in development.
Yep. If
Yeah.
there was going to be a boom, it would be coming this year or next year.
I know. And you'd be hearing about the projects.
We were hearing about Halloween all
Yeah,
in the
no,
lead
you're
up
totally
to
right.
October last year. We would have heard something by now if something was coming out October
I know.
this
That
year.
is weird. I wonder why. Huh.
Yeah.
I wonder what the
It's weird.
psychosocial reasons are.
I don't know why,
this.
from a business standpoint, you know how
Yeah.
cheap it is to make those? That's why
Yeah.
they got made in the first place.
Right.
And they get popular if you do them well.
Yeah.
You know, this is surprising.
It is surprising. I wonder if in the same way that they canceled Fear on MTV partially because 9/11 was so upsetting.
Right.
I wonder if there's stuff about like what's going on in the world right now and what we're kind of paying a little bit more attention to and speaking up about more now, just like a lot of injustices kind of across the board.
Yeah.
That makes it seem less viable to have, I don't know, like a guy on screen slashing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess.
I wonder.
I guess.
I'm only
Is
thinking
it-
of this now, so it's half baked, but
I
I wonder
know.
if there's anything there.
There were only ever really two pops of the slasher genre, and the one was in like the late 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And then started to die
Right.
around the 90s.
Right.
And then when Scream brought it back, and that only lasted for
I know, not long.
not long.
But it was a boom.
6 years, 7 years, something like
Good boom.
that. It was a good boom.
Good
It was a
boom.
fun boom.
Yeah.
But even they had to like find a new reason to make slashers
I know.
relevant again.
I know.
And for them, it
I
wasn't even
wonder.
about making them paranormal. It was about
Right.
making them whodunits.
Right.
So like maybe it's just like we don't have our hook
I know.
for now.
I know. I wonder what it'll be. It is surprising.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about it. I kind of took for granted that we were going to get a bunch of slashers again
So did
after
I.
Halloween, but you're right. There's
Yeah.
been no news.
Nope. No news.
Shh.
I've been waiting.
Shucks.
Been waiting and watching.
Yeah.
Was not the biggest fan of the Halloween movie that came out last
Nor
year.
I, but it was a big hit, so I would have thought that it would spawn a bunch of copycats.
Yeah, I'm like, especially like in a day and age where you could make a Freddy Krueger movie that's genuine. Like, there's no better time to make a Freddy Krueger movie when
Yeah.
we have access to like CGI that is this
Yeah.
like interesting. Like, you could really do some creative
Yeah, you
stuff.
could really
with
do
that
something
character.
really disgusting with a tongue
well. You could
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of tongue stuff.
There's a
there,
lot of
huh?
tongue stuff.
Yeah.
Really CGI one up right nice.
Yeah, it's true. All right. Well, anyway, there you have it. The horror possibilities in the Marvel universe.
Well, I hope that happens.
I would love it if that would happen.
That'd be really sweet. I hope this idea is on the wind
Yeah,
somehow.
it'd be great. I mean, I
I
used
hope it's in the
to.
collective unconscious. You picked it up and it's already in development.
That'd be great. There was a period in time where I was one of those people that was really cynically against the Marvel movies and just being like, "What's with all the cliffhangers at the end of it? They're not even movies anymore."
Oh, it's so fun.
And I was so against it. I was so like annoyed by them.
Yeah.
But now, and I used to say at the time, I was like, "Is there going to be a day where movies are just all part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? And if
Yeah,
you want to
yeah.
watch like a romantic comedy, it's always going to be between two comic book characters."
Yeah, right.
Because it's just taken over everything.
Yeah.
And like all the biopics we get are going to be about Stan Lee,
Right.
something like that.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of at a point where I'm like, you know what? They've proven that they know how to make a damn entertaining movie.
Absolutely.
In terms of like movies being entertainment. Like no one's doing it better.
The same way that cliches are cliches for a reason, like the Marvel movies are big hits and have wide appeal
Yep.
for a reason. They're appealing.
They're doing a really good job.
Yeah.
Even when they tried to make Star Wars like fit sort of that like format,
Yeah.
it's not working and people are annoyed at it.
Yeah, yeah.
Meanwhile, 22 movies in a
know.
row.
I know, it's crazy.
They've not taken a year off.
Right.
Since they started, and they're all good.
Yeah.
Or at least like acceptable.
Totally.
The worst movie is still like,
Yeah, I saw it fun
yeah.
or whatever.
And most
Yeah.
of them are like, well, that was great.
Yeah,
Sure, make some horror movies then. Like, if,
absolutely. If you can apply
Yeah.
that to horror movies, I'll be in heaven.
I'll be way into that.
Yeah. Except I don't really love horror mixed up with my action. in a
I guess
way.
I don't either, but you got to make it
So,
smaller scale.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to see necessarily like all those people like running into battle with like swords held high.
Right.
I'd rather it be a little bit more just scary and human in a way.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure now that I say that, but
Yeah.
I'm still, I want to nurture horror projects out there in the world
Yeah.
so that it spawns other horror projects. So for that reason alone, I want this.
Yep.
But I'm sure they'd make it cool.
Yeah, I bet they would.
Yeah.
I bet they would.
I bet they would.
Well, anyway, there you have it.
That's right.
So when you're braving the horrors of the movie theater this weekend,
Yeah.
when you're shouldering past people and trying to get the popcorn before somebody else does,
Yeah, that's right.
think about the way that Marvel movies could truly chill
That
your soul.
suggests that you're serving popcorn yourself or something like that. Like, I get to this first.
That's mine!
You'll all get it.
4 kernels of popcorn on,
Yeah.
on like the counter.
It's a mad dash.
Yeah. So there you go, everybody. That brings us to the end of another episode of Guide to the Unknown.
That's right. So you can find us all over the internet at GTTU Pod before next week. So on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, we're at that URL. You can also join our secret group on Facebook if you go to facebook.com/groups/GTTU Pod.
Yeah. You can also go to patreon.com
Yep.
if you want to give a little something back to us. We would greatly
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yep.
And other than that, if you want to talk to us, we're both online.
That's right. I'm at Chillin' Kristen on Instagram.
I'm at The Myth Traveler. So come back in 1 week's time when Chris and I will be digging back into the weird world of horror, the world of the weird.
Yeah. The world of the weird.
But until that time comes, we must travel.
Back to the netherworld go we.